first about what you do.
Okay, thanks so much, guys, for having me on today.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to be here.
Mm.
So, basically, what I do in my company is firstly, I'm a project manager. Lah, okay, so I will oversee projects relating to EV.
Mm-hmm.
And to date, we've installed quite a number in the hundreds of EV charging stations, AC and DC. So I have some knowledge as to, I mean, based on the number of installations that I've done, on the wiring and the amperage, the voltages, the requirements related to Bomba, related to TMB, ST, and Majlis.
Mm.
So yeah, ready to answer any of your questions, tonight.
Well, I think you mentioned some of the trigger words. Majlis approval, Bomba approval, and regulations. So we had some meetings with a number of I don't know how you call it.
JMB,
JMB and also MC. What is MC?
community, management community.
Management committee of high rises. And a lot of the questions they ask is, do I need Bomba approval? So do I need Bomba approval so when do I actually need Bomba approval?
That's a good question. So when it's a public installation, you need all the approvals that I mentioned, ST, Bomba, and Majlis. Majlis and Bomba come together, and then ST is separate lah.
Yeah.
And then if you want to have your own unique TMB meter to monitor the usage of the public installation. But yes, all public installations need to have these submissions. If it's a private installation, then you don't have to.
Okay, so what is the difference between a private installation and a public installation? So if it's in so let's say I'm an apartment dweller. If it's in my apartment building, is it private or public?
If it's in your apartment building at your own bay for your own use, then I would consider that as private, where you don't have to pay anyone to use. Well, you have to still pay your JMB or your MC committee for how much power that you use, but it's not communal. It's not for communal use. But public would be for communal use. In some situations, condos will allow even outsiders who are not residents of the building to come in and charge. So they'll put the chargers in like a visitor parking area or an area where people can come in and come out freely, like from members of the public. Or you can have strictly for your residents only, but it's communal. So you'll have...
Yeah, so that's the tricky part. Sorry to interrupt. So strictly for residents only means it's private, isn't it? Because it's in a private area.
Yeah, I suppose it's private in the sense that it's owned privately. Well, yeah, all charging stations will be owned privately, but it's private in the sense that it's located in a private building, but it's public in the sense that it's shared.
So the difference is shared and non-shared.
Yeah.
So do I need to submit the surat rancang and all that? Do I need to submit all that if I wanted to install a charger in an apartment for just my community use?
So the keyword there being community, then yes. If it's just for you, then no.
Just for my lot.
Your parking lot.
Yeah, your parking lot, and only for you and your family to use.
Yeah.
Or your friends or whatever.
Yeah. And then, am I getting this right? So the requirement for AC is lower than for DC in terms of the safety, the submissions, and everything.
Yeah, for sure.
So let me try to understand this. And guys, please do come in and ask us any questions. I think this conversation that we're having is very valuable, and I'm confident that many of you who are high-rise dwellers, whether you are in the JMB or in the MC, or just simply residents and want to know how can I get my JMB or my MC to want to install chargers, and what are the ways that we can install chargers. So like Hannah mentioned, you can have your communal chargers. It's basically like the car wash, right?
Car wash bay, it's shared space. Yeah.
That one. Or you can have chargers at your parking lot, and I think it's governed by what your JMB wants to do. And what we want to do is create the awareness that, hey, maybe you can have this conversation with your JMB. In fact, what I want to put out there also that if you want to have a session with us, Hannah, Alex, and myself, at your apartment to speak to your JMB, to have that meeting with your JMB, or to speak to your residents, because it could be both ways, right? Sometimes there is an apartment community where the JMB wants to go, but the residents don't want.
Mm.
Sometimes the residents wants it, but the JMB is like, no, we don't want to do it. We don't want to do it. Sometimes both want to do it, but they don't know how to do it. Sometimes both want to do it, but they want to figure out whether they want zero capex or whether they don't want zero capex. Sometimes both want to do it, but they might not have enough power requirements. Then they're figuring out what other solutions. So a lot of a lot of the barriers are, I don't have enough power. Or EV fire is a
Concern, yeah.
crazy thing.
Mm.
Yes, we have question? Yes. Normally, for apartment installation, do they install DC or AC chargers? All right. I have a view on this.
Yep.
There is a purpose for DC AC, but I think I want you to chime in first because you install the most chargers between all of us.
Yes.
So I would say for DC charging, so DC is fast charging, right?
Mm.
And what I mean by fast is in the minutes lah, like below an hour. Okay. For AC charging, it would be, well, I guess you can charge for less than an hour, but typically you'll be there for more than an hour lah.
Usually it's an overnight thing. For me, if I'm at home, it's overnight. So AC is slow. Yeah.
So when you have a fast power charger, your turnaround is very high. So many people can use, unplug, and then a new person can come in and use and unplug, so forth. So the key there is really in getting how to maximize that turnover rate, right? Because any idle time is wasted money, essentially. Whereas with AC, because you have cars parked there for an extended period of time, that time is being monetized, albeit at a lower rate lah. So that's one thing to consider, that you have a fast turnaround time for DC charging. Secondly is the regulations that you have to consider. There's a lot more barriers to installing a DC charger compared to installing an AC charger, just because the fire risks for DC is so much higher than AC. And the reason why the fire risk is higher is because the power consumption is higher. So for example, AC charging, you have 7, 11 and 22 kilowatt, but for DC charging, your minimum is 30 kilowatt, and then you go up from there. And the charges that you see at the RNRs, they're like 150 kilowatt, 240 kilowatt. So those are fire risks lah, because they carry so much power, they're transporting so much power. And also by the nature of direct current in itself, DC stands for direct current, it's more dangerous because it's not alternating.
It doesn't stop.
It doesn't stop.
Yeah.
So those are some things that you have to consider as a condo, whether you want your residents, if you have a facility for DC charging, what is the pattern of the users going to be like? What do you envisage the pattern of your users to be like? And also, last point is that DC is always way more expensive than AC. By way more, I mean
4
equipment costs.
at least.
5 to 4 times the price of AC installation. Yeah, so there's also ROI that you have to think about.
Yeah.
And even if you're talking about zero capex, right? The person providing the zero capex to you, the CPO, the charge point operator, also has to consider what's the ROI.
Yeah.
Whether your building is situated in a very strategic area, what's the number of EV users that you have currently in your building. You know, all these kind of patterns, they will factor in before they decide whether they want to give you zero capex or not.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, I think that's a very detailed, another long question. So I think that's a very detailed explanation, and I think I just want to chime in because the question is generally whether people install AC or DC. So Hannah has put in the consideration. When you want to install AC or DC, these are the considerations that you need to take account for. Number 1 is the cost. Number 2 is the utilization. I think most importantly, whether the power supply in your building has that capacity to supply DC charging. Most common when people come to us, talk to us about chargers, everybody I want fast charging, I want DC, I want the fastest charger that you can have or that I can support. And there's no right or wrong here. It's about how you want to serve your community. Meaning that how many cars are already on are EVs in your community? Are they okay to switch? Because another headache is managing the hogging. Meaning that, okay, for a DC, for example, 30 minutes is enough. Or maybe 45 minutes, at most 1 hour is enough for you to charge your car from 20 to 80%. And for DC, we usually charge to 80%.
They
right?
use, yeah.
So so in that time, let's say you park in your apartment, you tekan your lift, you naik atas, you baru nak, change your clothes to something more comfortable, the car is ready to go already. And that's the problem we usually have, right? When we charge DC outside,
Yep.
before we finish ordering our coffee, the car is done.
Mm.
So, is your community okay with that? Are you okay to manage people maybe idling there or hogging the charger? And is DC the right solution? For us, when we discuss this with community, we tell them, do you want to have one charger to serve a lot of people, or do you want to have a lot of chargers to serve a lot of people? Because it's a factor of resources and time, right? So if you have one DC charger, you can probably charge 2 cars at one time. But if you have multiple, like 20 AC chargers with the same power supply and the same cost, you can charge 20 cars. And that is something that's why. And when we had a conversation before we start this, a lot of the people that came and talked to us, I think they also spoke to other CPOs. And I think other CPOs, what they do is, and again, we're not competing with CPOs here, but what we're trying to do is push this forward, right? Drive adoption, basically, through education, through awareness, and through advocacy. And what happens is people will come to the apartment and say, okay, this is the standard installation, and we're going to apply this standard installation to you, without understanding what the community wants, what the building wants, and what the building power supply is. We discussed some building high density, so you want the fast turnaround. Maybe you need a fast charger. Some building low density, so maybe you want to cater for more AC chargers at the specific residence parking lot. Maybe that's better. Some buildings have Airbnb people coming in, so maybe that doesn't apply. A standard solution doesn't apply for that. So that's why I think having this conversation allows us to shift our mindset, maybe open the mindset of you guys, and put in things that you've never considered before, or things that you never knew to ask before. So I hope this helps. Okay. Wow, banyaknya soalan. Mana satu I nak jawab dulu ni? Mana satu I nak tanya dulu ni? Ada nervous.
You can ask
The first one.
Diana G.
Tolong scroll down. Oh, the energy yang bawah sekali.
The second question.
Here.
Boleh tak?
You want to read here? Yeah, it's here.
High-rise in Malacca.
Yeah,
Okay.
can read from here.
Okay, Diana G. KS Lim, hope we've answered your question. If not, please just chime in some more. How many viewers do we have now? Oh, we have 40 viewers. Hello, everybody. Thank you for taking your Friday evening off to listen to us talk about chargers and apartments. Itulah cakap, ada tarikan, bukan tolakan. Yang menonton, yang tahu je lah, yang tahu.
Ramai orang yang ingin tahu.
Okay, Diana G tanya, hello, I'm staying in a high-rise in Malacca, and my management has refused to install public chargers as the demand is low, and they refuse to give up some visitor parking for EV charging. Initially, they were considering on allowing me to install personal charger in my parking lot. However, they changed their mind, stating that if there's any fire, there's no insurance that can cover fire caused by EV chargers. My question is, any idea which insurance that can cover this? Or how should I go about it? Okay, I don't know whether there is any insurance that can differentiate EV fire and other
Petrol car
sources
fire.
of fire.
Mm.
So I don't know why your building management is saying this. If you look at your standard insurance coverage, a fire a fire is a fire. It's hot, it burns things down. Doesn't matter what the cause is. So I hope I answered that question. And then number 2 is, I think for the lowest entry point is, maybe speak to your JMB, and if your JMB can allow for you to install charger in your own parking lot. AC charging is the best, is the safest. In fact, to me, I don't have a concern with regards to chargers and EVs being dangerous. So between Alex and myself, and also Chapi, our EV editor, he's not here today, we've driven over 200,000 kilometers. Alex has probably tested all of the charging locations available in Malaysia and beyond Malaysia. You just got back from Germany.
Yep.
The charger can deploy 1,000 kilowatts, right?
Potentially up to 1,000. So it's the same technology we're seeing in Malaysia as well. Yeah. But I think going back to her question, because I think she said that she wants to install on her own lot.
Yeah.
But the barrier right now
The
is
fire
the fire
concern.
concerns. Yeah. So maybe if anything to add on to that.
I think that's a very
Yeah.
that's so interesting,
Yeah,
Diana,
yeah.
and that's something I've never heard before about the fire concern. I think that's something like, when the pandemic hit and then the insurance companies were like, oh, maybe we won't pay out for
COVID.
COVID-related
Mm.
incidences,
Yeah.
right? So I think EV is something like that, where insurance companies haven't yet come up with a policy that's like EV specific.
Yeah.
But good point that a fire is just a
A
fire,
fire,
right?
yeah.
But maybe what I can suggest to you, Diana, is that you approach your JMB and ask them for a 3-pin socket. Then you do your own separate
Good point.
metering. Yeah, do a little meter, a small little meter. It won't cost very much, a couple of hundred. And then you do the wiring to your bay, depending on how far your bay is, maybe a couple of thousand, low thousands.
Mm.
And then you pay them every month based on the meter reading lah.
Yeah. And you can install, and that's a good point. You can install using a 3-pin socket, and this is one of
Yeah.
the 3-pin sockets I think we are pushing out. And the reason why we're pushing this out is because this is so amazing. And okay, I don't want to sound like a telesales-person, lah, unfortunately, but it's the only solution in the world. This is verified by you, and it allows you to charge using a 3-pin socket. So ada 3-pin socket dalam ni. It's waterproof. It uses an app, and you can charge your car overnight. And it will give you about 20-30% of charge overnight, and which is enough because for EV users, what they do is every time you balik, you cucuk. Every time you balik, you cucuk. You plug in the car, and this one has low power requirements. So we were discussing just now as 11 kilowatt AC. If we take that, can replace this.
122 kilowatt can replace with 6 of this.
Yeah.
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 So
So in terms
yeah.
of power requirements, so let's say your apartment building is old. I mean, I don't have power, but I have a lot of people now buying EVs. And when EVs are going below 100K this year with the EMAS 5, with the Pero 2 EV, which I'm skeptic about, but people are going to look at solutions that standard CPOs don't have. So that's the reason why we're having this conversation. So again, Diana, if we've answered your question, please let us know. If not, just tanya lagi.
But I mean, please
Yes.
elaborate, because how is this different from a normal 3-pin socket? Please enlighten.
Okay, I think Hannah would be. I can elaborate. I
Yeah.
love talking, as you can see.
Yeah.
But maybe we can have the smartest person in the
No.
room
Yeah.
talk about it. Well, okay. First of all, it's waterproof. Okay,
Yeah.
we discussed about this before the session as well. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Now, you tengok kan the 3-pin socket, right? In Malaysia, a 3-pin socket is a 3-pin socket, right? That's what we think, right? But when we start to draw more power, the 3-pin socket will start to fail, especially in single-phase homes or older apartment buildings. So what's happening now is that in Malaysia, you can buy what we call a granny charger, or what people in the EV will normally call portable chargers. So these are the chargers that can use 3-pin socket. And sometimes when you buy cars, these are also provided. And then when you plug it into your home, what's going to happen is, and I'm sure you see this a lot on social media, the socket starts to burn
Or melt.
because the charger is dumb. It's drawing as much power as it can, and the socket is dumb. How much power you want, I give it to you, even though it burns me. So the difference is with this one is, number one is it allows for higher power draw. So on a normal 3-pin socket, the safest power draw is about 8 amps, which can give you how many kilowatts? One.
Less than 1. I
Less
think.
than 1.
And most is 10 amps, but that's pushing it. 10
Yeah.
amps, yeah.
10 amps you get
2.3 kilowatts.
2.3.
Mm.
With this you get 3.3. You can go up to 16
3.7, yeah.
16 amps.
This can go 16 amps.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So if you plug your car at night before you go to sleep, then you balik, then you tak nak keluar lagi dah, you plug your car into this granny charger, you get about 30 kilowatt hours. So 30 kilowatt hours is about 50% for our car.
Mm.
About
Because-
full for your car.
It's about 3 kilowatts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 kilowatts. So it's much faster. You get more power draw than a typical granny charger on a normal home socket.
You
Yeah.
cannot get 3 kilowatts on a normal granny
Yes,
charger.
kind of. Because it's
Yeah.
limited 13 amps. That's the max. This is 16 amps.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then the other thing also you mentioned about, okay, what's so good about this, right? So now, what happened in Malaysia is that people are stealing electricity. They are plugging in their EVs to granny charge to 3-pin
Any,
sockets.
any
right?
sockets you can find in the wall.
This smart socket uses an app, and only you can turn it on.
Mm.
So, and even people plug it in, and there's no switch on this socket, this
Yep.
thing.
Yep.
There's no switch on it. There's only a QR code, and there's a light here to say that it's working. and you control it. And that app gives you management ability, so you can know how many people using it. You can give permission for people to use it, how much power they draw over a period of time.
Yep.
Am I saying it correctly?
Yep.
Am I missing any other benefits of this?
There are loads of benefits. I mean, it's easier on the buildings, the overall building's power consumption. If the building has not enough power,
Yep.
it's easier on the overall grid. The TNB has
Yeah.
been complaining about how EV charging is going to stress the grid. So this is a low power solution.
That everybody can charge. So we talk about the right to charge, right? So imagine when more high rise, especially the old ones, or even the medium to low cost high rises, people are starting to use EVs. They will have problems where to charge, and that's when we cannot just simply use AC. We cannot just simply use DC, and we need to figure out alternative solutions, and Sparklin is one of them. All right, guys, I'm seeing a lot of questions, and we have now 44 people. Okay. Frankie.
This is the last one.
Where's Frank? So I skip everybody else and just answer Frankie's question.
They became a community and started answering, helping each other.
Okay. That's cool.
Okay.
That's cool. Okay. Frankie. This Johawaki no need
Sure, you can answer.
It's not a question though. Okay. I go into Frankie. Does install? Okay, Frankie Fu. Is this our Frankie Fu? Do we know this Frankie
No,
Fu?
I think it's different.
Okay. Does installation in a multi-level parking, i.e. individual parking bay, has more regulatory safety requirements versus installation in an open air environment, e.g. visitor car park? Okay, Frankie, I think we've answered this question. Anybody wants to answer this or
Hannah.
I continue to. Okay. So, we've broken it down. The big category is private and public. Now, what constitute as private charging? If it is your parking bay and it is for you to use only, that is private. And private installation is the one that has the least regulatory requirement. In fact, it has none.
Yeah, for residential, for landed homes, I don't think there are. There is actually on how the components, the configuration of the components. Like you have to have an MCB, you have to have an RCCB
Yep.
Type A.
Yep.
There's a certain size
Standard.
of cable which is
Yep.
recommended.
Yep.
Don't tap it from the TNB meter directly.
Yes.
So like there are ST has come up with a guideline on what is a standard installation based on the size of the charger, whether it's 7, 11, 22.
Yep.
And then DC dan sebagainya. So for landed, that mean there is some kind of framework lah.
It's
but
not-
in
okay.
terms of
Sorry to interrupt. I
submissions,
wouldn't say it's a regulation. I say it's a standard installation requirement.
Yeah.
So like the standard installation requirement would tell us, okay, don't tap directly from the TMB meter. You gotta tap from the DB. When you pull from the DB, you need to have a dedicated EVDB. You have to have the MCCB. These are not swear acronyms, by the way. These are technical acronyms. And again, these are things that we are more than happy to talk about, because I'm aware that some people who are in the audience are not very technical, and I don't want it to be dry. We can get very technical. In fact, if you want to schedule an appointment, just let us know. We're more than happy. As you can see, we're more than happy to talk about all this stuff with people who want to know. So back to your question, Frankie. The requirement for private installation is, I would say again,
the lowest.
0.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe absolute terms you're not comfortable with that. Yes, it's not 0. It's lowest.
The lowest.
As long as you meet the safety requirements. And I have to say this. This is, I think, a good point for me to also highlight that not a lot of charger installers know what the specific safety requirements are. And that's the reason why sometimes you see on social media, home chargers, terbakar. It's not because it's not safe, it's because people are not installing properly. We've gotten pictures of people tapping directly from the TMB meter. We've gotten pictures of people installing without MCCB, without RCB, without EVDB. We got pictures of people splicing cables. That means from the DB to half of the install. So kira macam dia tarik kabel tu tak cukup panjang, tapi dia dah tarik kan. So instead of dia cabut balik, dia potong kabel tu, dia splice, dia tarik, and that's not allowed. Dia tahu rumah mana. These are all actual cases. Okay.
So we have a question here.
Yes.
Are there different spec of AC chargers suitable for condos?
No. So when you talk about different specs, again, why we want to, I think, why we do this is because there is no absolute answer. There's no uh one answer fits all. So sometimes we do elaborate a lot because it's small details, right? So in terms of specificity, all AC chargers generally operate the same way. The only difference is you can configure 7 kilowatt, 11 kilowatt, 22 kilowatt. And what governs this is number one, the phase, the power supply of your building, whether it's single phase or three phase. If it's single phase, then you're limited to only 7 kilowatts. If you're three phase, then you can go up to 22 kilowatt AC charging. Now, what are the other limits? How many AC chargers can you install in a building? Now, that is governed by the
Available.
what governs that? The amperage or
Yep,
the
the
How many
amperage.
amps?
Yeah, the spare amperage of the building. So typically for condos who want to install EV chargers, the private ones for the specific base, owner specific base, they will tap from the centralized DB at that parking level. Let's say it's B1. They will tap from the DB at B1. So it will be like the car park lighting punya DB of B1 lah. And then they'll do a sub DB. But and although that's fine to do it that way. But if you want to talk about a scalable solution, is you should really pull an individual cable, specific cable just for the EVDB from your main MSB, pull it to each floor, and then have a centralized DB on each floor, ideally at a midpoint of the whole car park floor. And then from that DB, anytime a new owner wants to install charger, you pull from that DB. You don't pull from the car park lighting punya DB. Because the car park lighting punya DB, if let's say if anything goes wrong, there's kind of like a mixed wiring going on, right? Or like a sub. So now the car park DB, which is the lighting DB, which is already a sub DB, is now going to be a mother DB to the EVDB. Then they will have a lot of sub. It's like not very good practice lah.
So it's cleaner to have like a dedicated line just for EVs.
That's right.
EV charging.
Because the problem is you are not able, if there is a fault, what you want to do is you want to be able to quickly isolate that fault. And if you start mixing all the DBs and wiring,
troubleshooting be a nightmare.
and when it starts to trip, you won't know which one trips it. And I think the key word here is scalability. So I think Frankie was asking about the requirements just now. And again, maybe sometimes maybe the MC or GMB haven't even thought about scalability because you can't predict, right? What is the usage pattern? Okay, maybe there are two things here. Number one is adoption, right? Adoption is increasing. We have the data. The trend is showing that EV adoption is increasing. And it's only a matter of time that people in your building will start using EVs. In fact, last month, right, Alex, the growth of EV sales is 100%. Am I correct?
Almost double if you compare to the previous period. So August 2025 is 95% more than August of 2024. It's also accelerating. And you raise a good point. Like maybe the reason why, like for example, the GMB say, EV adoption is slow in the apartment. Maybe what's holding back is because there's no infrastructure. The moment you have EV chargers, they everyone, hey, go chargers now. I can buy EV. Then you can see adoption start to ramp up. So it's a chicken egg situation. And when you start installing chargers, you need to think, okay, what if you start installing charger, then suddenly everyone start buying EVs. So you need to think about long term as well.
Yeah, scalability. So once you allow one, you want to be able to allow everybody. And if you install macam yang Hannah cakap tadi, kita tarik daripada the lampu
lighting
punya DB, it's either the lampu wall will all blow up or the charger
Don't
trip.
scare them.
Okay, so yeah.
It will trip lah. It will trip. Okay.
Okay, we have a question from Jason. Hi, I'm living in a rather old apartment building built in the 90s, and I believe that it is a single-phase type of electrical power. My maintenance office is reluctant to allow owners to install our private chargers, fearing that it may trip the entire block. Moreover, the lift is sharing the same output from the mains.
I think that is not a apa yang nak cakap benda tu bukan tak standard. What I mean is that's normal. But I think for us is we need to understand what is the power configuration from the main DB to the building DB to the sub DBs. From there, then we can help. Right? Am I correct?
Sorry, he said that it's single phase and that.
He believes in single phase, and that the maintenance office is reluctant to allow owners because they fear it might trip the entire block.
Okay.
And also the lift also is sharing from the same mains.
Okay, so what would be suitable is what I just mentioned just now, where the management pulls a unique or specific cable just for the EV. Don't champo with all the other electrical
With the
wiring.
lift and
Yeah,
whatever.
don't do that. Pull from the MSB to each level of car park, and then anytime a new user wants to install, they pull from that DB.
Yeah, so but I guess that's a big leap for an old building or
Yeah.
a GMB that look, tidak apa lah. I don't care, man. You're buying an EV, that's on you, man. But we're not going to change our way. So for us, or for this guy, what's his name?
Jason.
For Jason to go in and say, hey, Hannah said do this, the guy will go like, I don't care, man. And the fella will probably give some silly excuses lah. So what I want to address is you have a pain point, because for me is the biggest liberating factor of owning an EV is charging at home. I'm so happy that I can flex to people who using ICE now. Hey, I don't need to go to Petronas, to BHP, to whatever, because I choose where I get my power. I can choose where I get my power, whether it's free, whether it's from solar, or whether it's from my house. And EV owners who are in high rises should be able to feel this liberation. So for me, it's okay. Katakan if you want to install charger at your house, maybe we can set up a discussion with the JMB and say, hey, maybe you can use Sparklin. Even if it's slow, at least you can charge at home. Or we can look at your power configuration and say, okay, you have some extra amperage here. We can pull it from here just for you specifically. Then we can study, and if you say that there are more people wanting to use that, then we can look at this solution where you pull a single power line from the MSB, right, or from the DB for EV specifically.
Yeah. John, was it?
Jason.
Sorry. Yeah, Jason, contact the team. Maybe the team can convince your JMB to change their mind.
Yeah. Okay, Duke, who's next?
Okay, here's another question. What methods to manage hogging in condos?
Idle fee, right? Like,
there are a few ways. So I think one of the ways is
that's a very good question.
Yeah, very good question. Because I think we've seen it in public chargers. So in condos, chargers are typically installed in the public space. So I think one way is to impose idling fees. So it depends on the payment. So if you're going to have a public charger, obviously there's a payment gateway, right? Like maybe a tap and card like Juice Up. So it's easier for people to just tap the credit card and start charging. So we can set in a way that if you finish charging, and if you do not move the car after a certain grace period, you'll start getting the penalty fee by the minute or per 50 minutes, up to the management how you want to decide. So that actually encourages people to move the cars after charging is completed. So normally if it comes with cost, people will be more aware and then they move the cars. Incentivized.
What is the standard cost of idling? So you review a lot of the public chargers, right? By the way, Alex doesn't have a charger at home.
Yeah.
So he lives on public charging. So idle fee, what's the most absurd number you've seen in terms of the cost?
I think the most expensive right now will be maybe Tesla, and also it's scalable. It's tiered pricing. So basically, what happens is that if let's say 50% of the chargers are occupied, then they impose like RM2 per minute. If it's more than they say it's almost 100% occupied, like it's fully occupied. If you don't move your car, then it can go up to like RM4 per minute. Congestion fees.
RM4 per minute.
Yeah, it can go as high as that. But it all depends on the supply and the provider, and also for the condo side, right? It also depends on the management. So let's say hogging is such a serious issue. Okay lah, every minute I'll charge RM10.
Yeah.
It's up to you.
You can set.
Yeah.
And the other thing, okay, we talk about regulations. There is no regulation on how much you can charge people for power. All you need is an ST license, and you can charge people for energy. Am I correct?
There was some talk about this actually because when you install an EV charger as a charge point operator, you are technically selling power but without a license. And that's illegal because you're not allowed to resell power without a license. You need to have a PDL. Yeah. So now with EVs, they understand like regulation has to catch up with all these first movers and all this stuff, right? So right now, once you register your public charger with ST and all that, you need to also get a operating license. So the operating license means you're almost like a kedai like that, and you're
Running a business.
you're running a business. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now back to the management, right? So management of hogging. So one of the popular, one of the upcoming
Alternative, yeah.
one is idle fee,
Mm.
and I think that's what the industry is doing outside of Malaysia. The popular one in Malaysia is the parking barrier.
Areas, yeah.
Now, if your JMB is thinking that, or you're thinking, okay, if any CPOs is saying, oh, parking barrier is the way to go, or even if you're asking about parking barriers, my advice is stay away from parking barriers. They fail, number one. They are a hassle, number two. And sometimes they don't work. And then the other one is
The worst scenario.
the worst scenario is they can damage your car. So there are instances where before the car leaves, the barrier comes up and then the car reverses and it damages the undercarriage of the car. So while it's being used predominantly in Malaysia to kononnya kawal hogging, it is something that we don't actually encourage people to use.
It's quite hassle as well.
Mm.
Yeah. So imagine you need to, you instead of charging, right, you need to worry. Okay, is the barrier down or not? And then you need to figure out. Okay, am I reversing correctly so that I do not drive over the barrier?
Yeah.
And if other people drive over the barrier, that's going to damage in the long run.
Barrier,
Yeah.
Okay, with regards to control, another way to do it is physical lah. That means you have a security there,
Yep.
you have a cone there, and then you manually manage this. And this was done by Ikano Power Center before. Remember when they first started it, you have to go to the
Yes.
parking management office
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, just one alternative. So let's say another one is maybe the another solution would be the manual way, right? So let's say if any committee members saw a car that is like hogging the bay, not charging, or charge is completed, because you can see from the charger whether it's charging or not. So let's say charging is completed, not move, you can tell the security guards, and the security guards can clamp. But of course, that has another set of problems because security guards will have to face the owner of the car who's been clamped. There'll be arguments, there could be fights, whatever, and it's going to get messy. So I think the ideal solution is to idle fee because the rules are clear. You don't move, you pay. You paid already, actually. You don't need to pay. You paid already. Then there's less hassle for the guard and it's automated. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't claim him lah. Just call him.
Yeah.
Call him.
Ah,
Ask him
call
to
him
move it.
first.
Call him first, yeah.
Call him, dia tak jawab.
Oh.
Mm.
Or the other way is you can have a valet service also, and that's also another revenue stream. So another thing I think JMB should look at is this is a revenue stream, guys. And if you run zero capex, the infrastructure is owned by the CPO, and you are stuck in contracts. Okay, we'll elaborate about that maybe a bit later. We wanna answer more questions.
Okay, so I think this time we can do a quick one. Is there any tax breaks or incentives for GMB to upgrade their power infrastructure, especially in older buildings?
Oh.
Unfortunately, I don't think so.
Mm.
Unfortunately, we have to do some research on this, but unfortunately, I don't think so. I don't think so. For individuals, there is a tax break. Once you install the charger, you would dapat 2,500.
Yep.
You can claim up to 2,500 ringgit.
Yep.
Okay?
Okay,
Yeah.
next question. Commercial land condos, electricity is much expensive than residential land condos.
Is it?
Commercial land
Commercial
condos
commercial energy is lower. Commercial energy tariff is lower.
compared to residential.
Yes. It is.
Oh.
Oh wow, I know something you don't.
Well, actually,
It's medium. So which scale? The medium voltage.
so
is it?
so TN,
Even when you go higher, it's cheaper.
So
But
T-
you have to pay upfront. Sorry.
Sorry,
Go
sorry,
ahead.
sorry.
Go ahead.
TNB has just changed their tariff structure effective 1st July.
Yep.
Yes.
So before 1st July, I can answer you at lightning speed. But
Okay.
now I'm catching up with all the new rates.
Mhm.
If I'm not mistaken, so domestic, they don't have maximum demand charges.
Correct.
And medium voltage and high voltage, they have maximum demand.
Mm.
So that makes their electricity more expensive.
And you have to pay upfront. You have to I know some places where you have to commit to a minimum use for energy.
You'd have to declare your maximum demand when your building is first developed, and you have to stick to that. It's also like a tiered thingy.
So it's like a minimum commitment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to declare, like, I'm going to consume 1,000 kilowatts, for example. And then within the 6 years, you have to reach that 1,000 or 85% of that 1,000. Otherwise, you'll get a penalty. But what was your question?
No, not my question. It's his question. What was his? What happened?
Can you recap again?
Are we still live?
Yeah, we're
Can you guys hear us? Okay. Tak apa. What was the question again?
Okay, so that was half of the question. So the remaining question is it still worth exploring AC charger installation at the private parking lot?
Okay, first of all, maybe we need to know in detail where is this building and whether it's correct that this rate is more expensive. Number one. Number two, the question is whether it's worth it to install AC or not. Okay, it doesn't matter whether you want to install AC or DC. You are charged. You are paying for the energy that you consume. The energy that you store. So it's like water, right? So you're not charged for opening the tap or for having a big pipe or for having a high pressure or having a pump. You're not charged for that. What your charge is how much water you store in your bucket. Whether it's using a high pressure hose, whether it's using a big hose, or whether it's using a small hose. So that's the most important part. And the calculation of how much energy you store is by kilowatt hour and not kilowatt. Okay,
I think if I get the question correctly, I think probably what he meant is like, for example, condos, right? There's normal residential condos and also Soho. There can be office commercial title.
Okay,
Yeah,
it
so
could be
it's
that.
so it's a rate.
What's the guy's name?
It's a rate. Is the rate different?
Sealant. So is it because it's Soho Sealant? By the way, guys, we know that the camera is frozen.
Camera overheated.
Oh, camera overheated. It's frozen, but we're trying to figure it out. But we're still here. So we're back.
Okay.
We're still here. We're back. So keep the questions coming and let us know if we're answering your question. Okay, so Alex, Soho, right?
Yeah, could it be a big difference in rates between
Honestly,
Soho
I don't
and?
think so, because
You turn
the
up the
way the
AC.
tariff
I'm
is
cold
structured,
though.
you have commercial tariff and then you have industrial tariff.
Yes, correct.
And then you got the medium voltage and the high voltage.
Yeah.
So by right, there shouldn't be a difference.
Yeah, you're
I
right.
mean, he's talking about strata and
So maybe
Resi
Celia, maybe you
title,
can
right?
elaborate whether it's strata title because a commercial. So apartments are not residential. Am I correct in
Yeah,
saying
they'll be
that?
commercial.
They are commercial already.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm not sure what is the difference
sorry,
here.
sorry.
Mm.
If it's an apartment building, I think I know what he means now.
Okay.
It's an apartment building. The building's management office, they receive a bill for the common area, the swimming pool, the jacuzzi, the car park lighting, dan sebagainya.
Okay.
Yep.
That will be a commercial rate. But the houses will be a residential rate.
Okay.
So I think you're right. When it's a Soho or something,
It's considered commercial.
it's
Yes.
considered commercial.
Yes.
So those units will then be under a commercial tariff.
Is it a big
But-
difference? Yeah.
But my point is, commercial tariffs are lower than residential tariffs.
So I think it's lower. Now that I've had some time to digest, I think it's the residential, right? If you use a certain number of kilowatts, it's cheaper. But then commercial is like straight away that's the rate. But resi there's a tier, right? You use 1 to 200 kilowatts is this much. 200 to 400
No
kilowatts
no
is
more
this
tier.
much.
No more tier.
Okay, there's no more tier for residents, but
Yes.
there's something called the
Oh,
EEI. It's like a rebate. It's an incentive. So the less you use, the more discounts you get. So in a way, it's kind of like tiered effectively. Yeah. But yeah, then again, this new tariff thing for commercial is still very new. I haven't digested it. So
Yeah, so
Yeah.
what I want to say is that Celine, I think we again, I'm saying we're more than happy to like really go deep with this and talk to you guys in person. So just let us know if you need us to come over and help you solve your charging problems.
Yeah, actually, according to him,
Uh.
his condo, his management already has 4 public DC chargers in the
Oh wow.
premise,
Wow.
Okay.
but they're charging a very high rate for it.
How much? How much?
It's mentioned, but it says instead they mark up the rate.
That one is.
I think likely is
I think
the
frankly,
arrangement.
bro, that one JMB. I don't know, man. So
So he's looking to install his own private charger. Yeah.
I guess then okay, I don't know what the legal recourse is for people who are living in high-rise dwellings in terms of if they are not happy with what the GMB is doing and whether they have any option to do something about it. I'll be frank, I don't know. But if that is the predicament that you're in, and if the building is saying is because the the electricity tariff is much higher, then I think it doesn't make sense. You wanted to say something?
Alex is totally right.
Which one?
For which one?
The EEI.
Yeah, but is it applicable for commercial as well?
No.
No. Okay. So which means that residents may potentially be cheaper.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I want to say this also, right? So energy charge is standard, and not only EVs are using electricity. So for factories, for example, or people who are using a lot
Manufacturing.
of manufacturing, the rate is not a lot actually. In fact, it's about less than 50 cents per kilowatt hour. if I'm not mistaken, less than 50 cents. Even at the high tier, it doesn't hit to 1 ringgit. So if people are charging you 2 ringgit per kilowatt hour for DC charging, I think it's absurd lah, right? The most expensive is 180, right?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, I think regardless whether it's commercial or residence, if you install a charger, regardless what rate, it should be still cheaper than public chargers out there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
still definitely be
So-
cheaper. Yeah.
So I don't know what your JMB is doing, man. That's all I can say.
Mm.
Okay, here's another question. This is an advertising segment for you guys.
Mhm.
How to contact further you guys so that my GMB can listen to you guys, because you shared a lot of technical terms and way how and a lot and how to install. I appreciate if you guys can produce step by steps report so I can share to GMB. Thanks.
Okay, siapa nama dia?
Amir.
Okay, so Amir, thank you very much. I think maybe Kelvin, you can put our number in the groups in the comment
Chat, yeah.
section. So Kelvin will drop our WhatsApp number. It is a 03 number, but you can WhatsApp. Don't worry, we're technology after all, right?
Mm.
So WhatsApp us your requirements, your questions. We're more than happy to meet up with you guys. Yeah. In
Yeah.
fact, I think tomorrow we're going to Penang, right, Kelvin?
Yes.
Tomorrow to check out apartment building there in Penang.
Mm.
So yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Next.
Okay, here's one. How much normally is the profit sharing between CPO and GMB?
Okay, the standard rate is 20%, if I'm not mistaken, to the JMB if zero capex. Standard rate. In fact, now I think it's lower. So that's why we're saying we're not fans of zero capex because you're coming in, right? So essentially, if it's installed in your area, in your facility, you want to own it, correct? Even if it's gym equipment or whatever. Correct me if I'm wrong, those who are in MC or GMB. Now you're allowing another person to use your land to install all this really expensive equipment and you don't own it and they say, oh, we'll give you 20%. Now, my question is, what happens if the government mandates that the price of the electricity can be increased, for example? Will you still get the same profit share? You have no control.
Or what if the other way around? If let's say
Mm.
government introduce a new special tariff for EV charger that's lower,
Mm.
but you will stuck to a contract.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the contract is typically I think 1 or 2 years. Some are asking 5 years. Again, I would say there's no right or wrong. Maybe there are some GMBs that would like to have zero capex. But I think what I want to create here is the awareness that hey, consider other options. Consider maybe the residents paying for the charger. Consider maybe solutions to have chargers at the residence slots so that it's less risk to you. Consider a managed services solution where okay, you talk to a CPO, the CPO do the installation, maintenance all done by the CPO, but you own the equipment. There are so many other ways that you can actually recoup costs faster other than being scared about the zero upfront or heavy upfront in the beginning.
And also another one is gives the management and the residents flexibility. So let's say, for example, if there's any changes in tariff, or you feel like okay, the tariff is too expensive. It's so expensive that all the residents prefer to charge outside rather than a condo. So you can actually make the adjustments because you have full control. And also you can have control over your power supply. So let's say the management can potentially install solar to help reduce the cost of electricity, and then you can actually trickle that down to the residents for cheaper charging.
And like how Hannah mentioned, if you specifically do the line correctly and you have a dedicated line for EV, then it's possible for you to have your EV charger supply through solar. Correct?
That's true. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So then it's essentially free. Then we can do the calculations in terms of how many solar panels you need. So you put in the cost. So solar panels now are actually quite cheap, to be honest. You need probably maybe 30 panels to get I don't know how many kilowatts. Maybe you can do the calculation. Okay lah, never mind. But because why I'm saying that is because I use solar at home. I have 30 panels. At a good day, I can harness about 80 kilowatts a day at my house. 80 kilowatts is
A
one
full charge.
full charge car for me, and it's free. So consider that. By the way, can we turn down the AC a bit? I'm quite cold. Sorry.
Yep.
We have one more question. Any additional insurance needed for condo to install charger?
Good question. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we covered the insurance topic. We touched on it a bit earlier.
Mm.
So right now, I'm not aware. So also correct me if I'm wrong.
There is no requirement, and you're right. There is no requirement for you to install any additional
Insurance.
insurance. Why I say this because okay, a fire is a fire is a fire. Let's flip this around. So let's say right, I'm charging the car. Okay lah, I don't know. This is not a good example. Okay, let's say I'm plugging in something into the socket, right? I get electrocuted, right? Then I go to the hospital. I want to claim my insurance. Then the insurance say, okay, the person plug in the thing, right? Is he using a computer or is he using an oven? If it's an oven, sorry, we don't cover oven electrocution. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Am I right in that analogy? It's
Yeah.
correct, right?
And also flip to the other side, right? Okay, let's say you people always fear about EV fires. What if it's a fire caused by petrol car, diesel car? Is it any different? Yeah. What happens? You can ask the management back. Okay, what happens if a petrol car catch fire in the basement car park and then a lot of cars damage?
Yeah.
What's the rule for that? Do you require special insurance? Any different insurance? It's still a fire by a car, right? And car insurance are the same across all, right? So, what's the difference here?
I want to say this lah. I think we ask a lot of questions. We don't provide the answers, right? But theoretically, not theoretically, if you read the
data.
cover note of your insurance or the whatever it is, right? Electric fire is an electric fire at the end of the day, and EV is considered an electric fire, so you're covered.
Can I just add on a statistic to that, which I actually just read earlier today? This is a statistic that came out by the Director General of Jabatan Bomba. So he said that of 100,000 ICE cars meaning petrol cars, the EV fires is 1,530 for every 100,000 cars. Okay, for every 100,000 hybrids, it's 3,475 fires.
Hybrids are higher.
Yeah, hybrids are higher. And for EVs, for every 100,000 EVs, it's only one fire.
Wow.
So I guess you can use that data and show management, hey, based on these stats, right, we should be worried about petrol car and hybrid fires, right? So what happens if there's a fire?
Yeah, again, maybe, I mean, for me, I want to say there's no right or wrong here, but we can't argue with data.
Yep.
And why we're confident is because we have the experts when it comes to installation, we have the experts when it comes to safety and power management. So what I want to say is it a concern that fires are happening? When we do our training, I tell people, right, if I'm worried that EVs are not safe, I wouldn't put my family in an EV. I wouldn't send my kids to school in an EV. I wouldn't even let my wife drive my EV. So it's not a concern. Now, am I denying that there are some problematic EVs? There are. I mean, I don't want to say I'm not allowed to mention names, but I don't want to mention names. But there are EVs that are problematic. Now, when it comes to chargers, are there fires caused by EV chargers? Yes, but is it because of the technology or is it because of poor installation? I think I can bet you on this 100%. The reason why the fires happen is because of poor installation. That's it. Okay, what's our next question?
Okay, this is a bit complicated. So stay
Let's
with
go.
me. Okay, Hazim just joined.
Okay. Hi Hazim. Thanks for joining.
Hi.
Okay, may I ask?
Yes, you may.
If there are any clear guidelines, if let's say GMB wants to allow installation of EV charger at owners' own parking base for strata buildings.
I want to say again, we are not experts in terms of the regulations of strata titles and what you can do. I'm not sure whether there's any freedom, but I think I refuse to accept that there is no freedom or no flexibility for residents to request for certain things. But what I can say is, in terms of EV charging, also there is no standard for how to approach a apartment building. There's only a standard on, okay, if you're installing an EV charger, these are the equipment or the necessary standards that you have to have. Again, MCCB, RCB. If you're installing a DC charger, you need to give some buffer area, things like that. So I'm sorry, I really can't answer on the strata title thing.
I think it's a bit of a grey area at the moment. As we also mentioned just now, that regulation has to catch up also with what the first movers are doing. So right now there is no regulations. I
Mm.
would say there's no regulations on if you wanted to install a charger at your own parking bay. It's whether or not the JMB will or the MC will allow you to do that.
Okay, so what I can say is, let's say the MC say cannot because Bomba requirement. Nope, no such thing. Cannot because they need buffer areas. Nope, no such things. For AC, you can install at your parking lot. Just make sure that you have the necessary installation equipment and it's installed properly. That's it. What it means is you cannot tap directly from the DB. You need to have a dedicated DB for the EV. If the JMB says, oh, I want a TMB meter, that can be done also. We can install a dedicated TMB meter for each charger at the parking lot itself, correct? It's possible. It just takes a bit more time. Now we're still frozen, but
Sorry.
still no worries.
Sorry, not a TMB meter, a kilowatt hour meter.
Ah.
TMB meter, they will get their own bill.
Okay.
This one is just a kilowatt hour meter.
Okay.
Okay, you guys can continue. Take the visuals.
Maybe can replace this with a phone or something. I don't know. All right, let's go next. Stay with us, guys. I'm sure many of you are just listening in, so don't worry, just listen in and keep asking the questions. We're still here. All right, so apologize for the technical glitch here with the camera. Duke, what's the next question?
We have no more questions.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think you answered many questions.
Okay.
Of the questions already.
Oh, cannot be lah. I'm sure there are more questions or more things people want to know. We still have an hour, if I'm not mistaken, to talk about this, and I think we still have about 40 people with us. So if you guys find this informative, insightful, and helpful, first of all, I want to say thank you so much for being with us, especially on a Friday evening. I know you guys can go and have some dinner or whatever, but I think this is important. Why you are here is because it's important to you and you want to know. So maybe we can talk about chargers in general or EV myths in general or anything you guys want to talk about. We're more than happy. So I'm waiting for questions actually, or we can just talk about EVs in
Yep.
general. So all of us drive EVs.
Yep.
You have a charger at home.
Yep.
Okay, what is your charging habit? How do you charge?
So I have a 22 kilowatt wall box installed at my mom's house. And then at my house, I'm using a 3-pin, a granny.
Granny charger.
Using Sparklin?
A granny. No, not Sparklin. I'm using just a regular 3-pin and a regular granny.
So do you charge every day using the granny or only
No,
when you need?
I don't charge every day in general, just because I don't need to. I only charge when my battery is below maybe 30 or 40%. I try not to think about it too much. As a EV user, I want to break the stereotypes of range anxiety and all that stuff. So I try not to think about it really at all and just kind of glance over, I don't have much battery left. I'll find a charger.
Yeah.
And one just usually tends to appear.
So you don't have any problem with finding chargers and stuff like that?
No, and I would recommend people who are just new to this scene, like thinking about buying an EV or have just bought an EV, to download the app PlugShare. I use that quite often to tell me where's the nearest charging point, because otherwise it's quite difficult to know. Yeah. So the app is called PlugShare, PlugShare. We're not sponsored by them, by the way.
We should be.
Yes, one of the best apps to find chargers.
All right, Duke.
Duke. Yep.
It's from Amir. Do you have a proper guidance or step-by-step for me to share to GMB?
Okay, we don't have a proper guide. I mean, you mean like a checklist? I don't know. We have to ask the Encom people. Do you guys have a checklist?
This is our second time that someone has asked this question. I think we have to come up with one.
Yeah, I
that we
think
can share out.
Yeah.
I guess right now I think we can see a pattern here, right? A lot of people want to install chargers, but there's this fear from the GMB. They assume that okay, I need this, or they have a lot of doubts, and then they don't know what they don't know. So I think we need to create like a starter pack for them to show GMB, hey, actually it's not as complicated or as risky as it seems. So I think we need to come up with a pack or something.
I want to ask you that question. How long do you think we need to come up with a checklist?
Not long. We have all the information in here. We just have to transpose it onto paper.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, but I'm also aware you are on the clock. so
How long? I can get it to you end of next week. How about that?
wow. So maybe guys, should we have another session just to talk about charger installations in high rises? Give us a like if you think we should do that. And Hannah has put it on the table that she will have a checklist ready by the end of next week. So basically a week after now. So if you want, oh wow, a lot of people saying we should do this again.
Okay.
Cool.
We have another question.
Okay.
Oh.
But this one I feel like it might go on for some time, so we'll answer.
It's okay. We have an hour.
Yeah.
We'll answer a few rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Okay. This comes from Kok Peng Tan.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, you said your team can come down to talk to GMB. I'm in Georgetown, Penang. My GMB is currently without any manager to make decision. Can contact you next time.
Tomorrow he's coming to Penang tomorrow.
I'm not going to Penang. My team is going to Penang. So
Yeah.
I don't know. We can talk to Iskandar. Where is he?
Yeah, maybe he can leave his number. How?
I don't know.
can he
Cannot.
Oh,
Drop-
cannot. Don't do that.
Contact us, and then maybe we can try and find a time to go and see you.
Yeah. Please drop the link again,
Yeah.
Kelvin.
So if your JMB doesn't have a manager, who's going to make the decision? What's his name again?
Kok Peng.
Kok Peng.
Mr. Kok Peng. We can go there.
Yeah. Maybe message us.
Yeah.
Message us through the WhatsApp link, and then
We'll try to
Yeah.
solve the problem. So again, we like I said, the reason why I am very passionate about this is because the biggest superpower of an EV is being able to to charge at home.
Mhm.
Like I don't care how much energy. Okay, I'm spoiled lah because I have solar and everything. Right? I just drive with sport mode all the time, man. I'm like, if my consumption is 25, 30 kilowatt hour per 100 kilometers, is no big deal for me. Everybody should feel that.
Actually,
I
maybe you can tell us a bit more about that. I really like the idea of having solar installed in your house,
Yep.
and then
like
your
free flow.
yeah, free flow energy,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
all natural.
Yeah.
Can tell us more about that.
These are really green.
Okay,
Zero.
so the reason why I wanted solar was because my first of all because my energy bill was very high. It was 1,000 ringgit plus a month, and I'm like, I cannot lah. It's so depressing to see. I have to plonk 1,000 ringgit
Every month.
every month. So I did some reading, did some research. Like, okay lah, I think it's high time for me to invest in solar because of my consumption very high, and then I have an EV. So I went to a solar installer and I said, okay, my objective is simple: fastest ROI, and I want zero. I want to go net zero, meaning that my harvest is the same as what energy I use.
Consume.
So they did some research and they said, okay, this is our proposal. So they're proposing their proposal is to cover my whole roof. So my solar now is 15.6 kWp. So you measure solar output by kWp, that's
Peak.
kilowatt peak.
Mm.
Theoretically, how much you can get if everything is ideal. And our first calculation was, okay, we will probably only have to pay 100 ringgit or something for electricity, not much lah, because of the sun and everything, right? But it turns out that I'm harvesting much more than I am using. So I used to joke with Alex, my problem now is, I used to tell my kids, hey guys,
Turn off the
only
lights,
turn
turn
on the AC when you guys go to sleep at 9 o'clock, whatever, right? And 6 o'clock in the morning, turn off the AC. Now, because we have so much energy, I'm telling them, don't turn off the AC. The AC is on all the time. And even with that, and even with me plugging my car in every day, I still have excess energy. So now so I turn on my solar in November. Now it's October, so almost a year. So now it's September, so almost a year, right? I now have about 1,400 kilowatt hour excess energy.
Wow.
1.4 megawatt hour.
Of excess energy that I don't know what to do.
Sorry, are you on Celco or are you on NEM?
I
It's NEM.
was on NEM, so now I'm
Okay.
thinking of going Celco. So I'm doing research of any car that's crashed. I can take the battery and
Store the energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about that?
what batteries?
About the difference between NEM and Celco, and how with Celco you can use a Powerwall.
Okay, so now NEM was the popular option because there was a lot of incentives and you get rebates and everything. And then I think 3 months ago, the government kind of like don't know whether they want to
yeah.
abolish it or whatever. And the
It
talk
expired. It expired in June. Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the talk on the street is, okay, government is looking at Celco. So what Celco means is self-consumption. In Malaysia, the government allows you to have self-consumption. That means you generate your own electricity,
Use
you
your
use your own electricity. Basically, you're off the grid. You're allowed to do that. Why people are not doing that is because it's prohibitively expensive. Why? Because solar panels you have to install. So my solar array cost me about 30,000 ringgit. Back then, I got a 4,000 ringgit rebate from TNB, and then now I'm not paying 1,000 ringgit anymore. I'm only paying 40 ringgit. So in 30 months,
30 months.
I'm ROI
Cover,
already.
yeah, cover the cost. Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah.
And now you have access.
I have access.
That's not net zero, man. That's beyond zero. The real beyond zero.
Negative zero.
Yeah.
So now I'm interested in Celco, but the cost, battery, now solar is cheap, but battery is expensive. So for me to be able to survive the night, I need maybe about, because of all the ACs, I need about maybe 40 kilowatt hour to just survive the night. And 40 kilowatt hour is, I don't know, about 50, 60K. So the cheapest way to do it is to find car that people don't use anymore, or crash, is off written, but the battery is still good. That's why we need the battery database.
We have multiple questions.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. With the rapid change in KS Slim is asking, with the rapid change in charging technology, would it be better to have individual chargers than chargers from CPO?
I don't understand the question.
Chargers from CPO.
Individual chargers.
Individual charge from CPO. Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong. You mean that because the charging technology is getting faster, right? Is it better to have your own charger at home, or to just rely on the public chargers outside, like petrol stations? But for me, ultimately, the best convenience, the cheapest way to charge is still to charge it at home in your own bay. Because if you have your own charger at your own parking bay, imagine this: you don't need to go to any public chargers at all. Drive home, plug in, next day you're good to go. So that's the ultimate convenience, and it's cheaper than using public chargers. Hopefully that answers.
During my initial journey of owning an EV, I wanted to go no charger. So I didn't want to invest, because back then chargers were expensive. This was 3 years ago. And I couldn't, because my commuting was a lot. So my daily commute is at least 70 kilometers a day. And my battery cannot tahan. So every 2 days I have to charge my car. So I tried to find the nearest DC charger in my house. So after I send my kids to school, I tried to drop by a DC charger and charge, and it's inconvenient for me. So I made the decision to say, okay, I need to install a charger at home. So we invested in the money, but I'm never turning back, and I should have done it day one. And to answer your question, KS Team, yes, when people talk about, oh, there's not enough chargers to keep up with the demand of EVs in Malaysia, and there will be queues and everything like that. From our real world data, Alex have done all the testing of chargers, 13 hours on the road just testing chargers. And CPOs coming to talk to us. DC public chargers are gravely underutilized, and because of the outlay, one site costs at least 1 million. People are struggling to recoup the cost. A lot of people are not talking about the ability to install chargers at home and charge at home. So if all of the cars, imagine this, if all of ICE cars in Malaysia can suddenly refuel their cars at home, do you think petrol stations make sense? Only if you do long distance. And that's the reason why petrol companies don't want this liberation. Okay, I'm talking like a hippie now, but what I'm saying is individual chargers is the way to go.
It's convenience. Like,
Yeah.
think about this, right? Okay, let's say even though the phone charger is so fast, you can fully charge the phone in 1 second, for example. Would you rather charge at home or charge at the phone shop? Nothing beats charging at home.
Yeah.
Jason Chong is asking, can you please share about the Sparklin Charger that you mentioned? Any prerequisite requirements for condo?
So at the moment, the Sparklin. Okay, so there are two ways to look at the Sparklin. One is as a 3-pin plug, and the other one is as an EV charger. If you're talking about looking at it as an EV charger and you want to use it for public, then you need to apply to ST and Majlis and all that, just to let them know, let the authorities know that you want to install this.
That you're going
Selling.
to charge energy.
You're going to sell
Yes, that-
energy.
that you're gonna
Because
sell.
as an outlet, you don't need the requirements because it's low power, relatively speaking.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right. As an outlet, you don't need that lah. But once you start using it as a public punya ni, then you have to get all those certifications lah. So that's number one. Number two, the Sparklin is really suitable for multi-story dwellings. And also office buildings and long stay parking, because the Sparklin charges at 3.7 kilowatt and below. So the time naturally would be longer compared to a 7 kilowatt, 11 or 22 kilowatt charger. So because of that, you need to leverage on time. So the longer that you spend at the bay is more amount of time that you get to charge. But the advantage of that is because now you are able to serve more users. So basically the power equivalent of Sparklin is, imagine you have a 22 kilowatt charger, you can substitute that with 6 units of Sparklin. So instead of serving one user with that one 22 kilowatt, you can now serve 6 users.
Yeah.
So the advantage of that is leveraging on time lah, because now that you take longer to charge because the 22 kilowatt is spread among 6 people, but using your overnight when you're sleeping time, you are utilizing that time to charge your car. And really that's a really efficient way to charge, because if you think about it, if you have one unit of 22 kilowatt, these 6 EV users are brabot for it,
Yeah.
right? They're fighting for to use this, and they have to queue or they have to book, or I'm not sure what system they have, or first come first serve, most likely. And you don't get to charge lah. And overnight you don't get to charge either, because you have the idling fee. So you have to move your car past 12 or past whatever time that you sleep. Normally would be 12 lah, let's say latest. So you have to move your car. So between 12:01 to till 8 a.m. there's nobody occupying the bay. So there's no monetizable hours. Whereas with Sparklin, you're monetizing
24 hours.
throughout the night. Throughout the night and throughout the day as well, really.
And people have no concern because it's not so fast. So you don't need to worry about, I need to wake up early in the morning because I need to move the car. Because this is suitable to charge overnight, and more people can charge overnight.
Yeah.
So I think the question was, what are the requirements? So I think Hannah mentioned in terms of the public use. So for public use, because it's public, we have to put in the requirements, the MCCB, the RCB, whatever, the isolator and everything. The other benefit of Sparkling is because it's low power, right? And if you're installing it for your individual use, all you need is probably a bigger cable, 11 mm or was it like
For
6,
this
right?
one,
Yeah.
for this one is 4 mm.
4 mm, right?
Yep.
So that's it. And if your unit already has that bigger cable, all you need is just to install this, replace the socket with this. That's pretty much it. And the car is already chargeable. And the other benefit is of course cost. So we say the installation cost of Sparkling is probably 1/3 of even an AC charger. So the entry barrier in terms of requirements is very little. Again, if you already have a 4 mm cable, it's just plug and play. Yeah.
Okay, so we have 2 separate questions from 2 different people, but they're interrelated.
Okay.
Okay, so any general measure of how many EV cars in condo to how many EV chargers?
Okay. Okay. Uh-huh.
Okay.
The ratio,
And
okay.
also, how do you deal with situations of low voltage to high voltage situations for condo if too many chargers being installed?
Well, the simplest way is to have a dynamic load balancing, and I think this has built-in load balancing, right?
This generation doesn't, but the next generation will have.
It has
Yeah.
load balancing. So when you have a lot of chargers, and this problem is already solved by people in China, people in Hong Kong, and I've been to a government building in Hong Kong, for example. It has 99 AC chargers. So how it does that is 99 or more, I can't remember, is dynamic load balancing. So what dynamic load balancing means is there's multiple ways. One is to split the load evenly by demand. So if I have 10 points, for example, just to make it simple for everybody to understand, and I have 10 bays needing charging, so I allocate 1 point to each bay. But if I have 10 points and only one car that's charging, I allocate all 10 to that charging bay. So that's how it works. So for a scalable, multiple charging solution, multi-level, load balancing is the way to go. And that's something that we can do as well.
Yeah, and then it's also implemented in Malaysia. Like for example, KLCC, Surya KLCC, the premium car park there's like over 20 points, and there's load balancing. So let's say for example, if our car can do 11 kilowatts, if let's say there's less than 10 cars, you get 11 kilowatts. But once it's very full, then we notice that we're getting slightly lower, like 9 kilowatts, 8 kilowatts, and that's how load balancing is in action.
Yeah. What was the first question?
The
Was that the first question?
How
Ratio.
do you judge
Okay.
how many chargers?
There is a calculation. I forgot, but there is like a
Formula.
global study that for one AC charger is 1 to 10. So 10 EVs, one AC charger. That's the study. But like, okay, I think we're frozen again. Uh, but we're still here, okay, guys. But what I want to mention here is what we learn is real world data and study data. Maybe the difference is 50%. So real world data and study data 50% variance. So if the study data say one AC charger needs can support can service 10 cars, 10 EVs, I don't think is quite right lah. Because again, people maybe want to hog, or some cars charge more, charge at a slower rate. Some cars charge at a faster rate. So we don't have a dedicated ratio lah. I think for me is to just figure out what can we do and how much your power supply is, and then what the demand is, and then calculate from there based on certain assumptions. So what are these certain assumptions? Average battery size. So we need to look at what is the average battery size for your community in your building. So let's say your average battery size is 60 kilowatt hour. Then we look at what is the average charging demand. That means if because some cars can do 7 kilowatt, some cars 11, some cars 22. Then we look at that. Then we maybe do some calculation and say, okay, on average, maybe your residents need about 4 hours of charging. Then we look at the population. So how many cars are available, how many lots are available, and how much time is available. Then we calculate from there. Yeah, I hope that answers your question.
And also, there's a lot to add on. There's a lot of variables as well, because some people might maybe find it more convenient to charge at work or at a destination. And also, there's various user patterns. Some people might be doing sales work. They need to drive long distance every day. Then they might need to charge every single night. Some maybe need to charge once a week, or maybe once every 2 weeks, depending on the user habits as well. And don't forget that charging is not limited at home. It's also, you can also charge at the highway. You also can charge at destination. So it all depends on the usage pattern.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have answered this multiple times.
It's okay.
It's okay. Can recap. Yeah.
There's no right or wrong answers. Question. Why do I keep saying answers?
Will it be more convenient to list out the steps in high-rise building EV charging installation?
Yes, it will be, and I think we discovered this from talking to you guys and from your question, and that's why I love when you guys ask questions and give suggestions, because sometimes there are things when we cannot answer, we go and study it, we go and figure it out, then we find something that's quite remarkable. So the discovery for this question is that we will come up with a checklist, a basic checklist of what it
Takes,
what
yeah.
GMB needs to do, or resident need to do to make sure that you can install chargers at your high-rise dwelling. Yeah. I'm not sure whether the display here is real time in terms of the questions.
It is.
Is it real time?
It is real time.
You can see here also.
Any other questions?
So far, we have no questions. No new questions.
Okay, Ganesan mentioned, I believe there is a new. I mean, we can talk about what people are talking about. So a new NEM scheme coming out. Yeah, there's talks about it. In fact, there was rumor that it will be released in September, if I'm not mistaken.
August or something like that, but it didn't come out.
Nothing has come out. And then there's a new rumor called.
No, it's not rumor. They
No more NEM. It's Atap now.
They confirm the name. It's
Atap.
it's a movie trailer lah. It's called Atap, but details coming soon.
Means they have nothing lah. Why you want people to wait? Ayo. Okay, sorry. I don't want to get annoyed, but yeah. Okay, let's go down. Any general measures? How many EVs? Okay, we already answered that. Will it be more convenient? Okay, we already answered that. It would be cool if you can use your car as V2L at night, or get a second car with long range battery. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I use all the technology in an EV. So one of the most common thing I use is to let the car cool the car down when I'm away from it. So especially like today, Friday, right? So I park my car outside and I go for Friday prayers. I just leave it on. And then when I come out from the mosque, I go in my car. It's really cool. No need to turn down the windows. I love it. And I use V2L a lot as well. Yeah, it's cool. So now we're trying to figure out like how can I V2L into my house. So because I have that excess energy, right? So if I keep my car charged, then it's my storage lah. So all I do is always keep my car charged. Then I use more energy. Then I kept my cost that way lah. I
Yeah.
guess.
And also besides V2L, right, there's also more potential EVs. There's also V2G and V2H. V2H basically vehicle to home. You can actually power your house. So imagine this, like for example, if you have solar, right, you can charge your car, use your EV as a battery, and at night plug it into your house. So instead of buying a battery, you can actually use your power that's stored in your car. And even BMW, they recently launched the new iX3. They even provided the DC wall box that supports V2H and V2G. So the potential is there. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I'm just going down the question thing. Okay, Ganesan mentioned, I mean, use V2L to as a battery bank. Okay, the more we study about this, right, V2L does not have enough capacity or power output to be able to supply your house. It can supply the house slowly, but let's say suddenly everybody wakes up in the morning and everybody wants the water heater. The V2L is going to be
It's not enough.
enough to be able to supply the power. So what you want is the V2G
V2H.
or V2H.
Yes.
And when you go deeper into this, right, what you want is the car to be able to supply DC power to the house. Now everybody is on AC, but DC is more efficient. So we're looking at a DC to DC grade, and if the car can supply, so if you have a car that can supply DC power to the house, then you need to convert your house into DC power. Then when you convert your house into DC power, you need to convert everything in your house to DC power. DC lights, DC ovens, DC TVs and things like that. Or you need to have a converter. So we go into all these things. But to your point, Ganesan, yes, being able to use V2L is cool. But and that's what I thought first when I first bought my EV. I keep telling people, hey, my car can keep my house running for 4 days. Theoretically, yes, but not in the comfort and use case that we're comfortable with, that we are used to. Yeah, does the question you mentioned as well?
Do we need, this is from Jason Chong, do we need EVDB for every floor for condo? How much will that cost and any requirements?
That's I think for you.
Yeah. So earlier we mentioned that you should pull a specific cable from the MSB.
We call it a line lah, because we talk as SLD, right? Okay, we call it a line lah.
Okay,
Is it correct?
you have to pull a line from the MSB to each floor of your car park. So now your car park, let's say B1, B2, B3, B4, right, will have its own large size EVDB. So this EVDB will have one main MCCB, that will be your main breaker. Assume that's like 100 amps. So let's say each floor you give 100 amps, 100 amps, 100 amps, 100 amps. Okay. So now, anytime a new resident wants to install a charger, let's say at B1, he would pull from that unique DB, the EVDB at B1, and he would just get a little slot. He wouldn't occupy the whole DB. He just gets a little slot for
a breaker socket.
A breaker, that's right, for ideally single phase, because if you're on single phase, you can serve more people. So your 100 amps would be a 3-phase 100 amp breaker, but the power supply that each user gets is single phase. So now you have one 2-pole MCB and one 2-pole RCCB, and then you have your kilowatt hour meter, which is also 2-pole. So you'll occupy that amount of space in the EVDB. So then the EVDB, the rest of it is empty. It's just your 6 at the top, and then all those other slots are waiting for other people to come in, and then your main breaker is at the bottom.
So this is your scalable solution,
Yeah.
So am I understanding this correctly? So from the main DB, I pull one line, so that one line goes to all the floors, or is it one line for each floor?
One line for each floor.
So that means if I have 8 floors, so from the street there, I have to pull 8 lines.
Yep.
Okay.
And how much will it cost? And what's the requirement? Is there a rough figure?
The cost would determine based on what's the distance of the cable run. So I can't give you an estimate right now, but the further the distance, the more expensive it will cost.
How much is per meter cable run?
I also can't give you that cost right now off the top of my head.
Oh, okay.
Maybe you can just drop us.
So,
Yeah.
Drop us a
I hope
message.
we've answered your question.
Yeah.
What was the question again? Sorry.
This one.
How much?
Do
how
we-
much do you need if you got each floor? Do you need to pull for each floor?
Uh,
And how much will it cost to pull for each?
Yeah, so I think Hannah answered. I'm recapping. Is we need a line for each floor, and then each floor will have a master breaker for EVs only.
Yeah, master. That's
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
Yeah, for EVs only. That's it.
For EVs only.
Then
yeah.
each EV charger has a breaker socket, and that's it. So that way we can isolate the problem. Yeah. So I think the one thing that a lot of people not talking about when it comes to EV charger installation is scalability, and I think that's something that you're pushing, and I think that's good. Yeah. Right. Next.
Waiting on questions.
Okay. Let's
There's two down there. Kim Ho.
Kelvin Low, he's replying. There's zero
Okay.
capex option for AC chargers. Premise just need to provide parking.
Next one. Yeah.
This was one of the options proposed by a CPO. We were quoted 300k. Does that amount look right? I mean, 300k for
What solution?
what? So
yeah.
is it AC, DC?
And how many
Yeah.
chargers?
And then again, I want to also caution you guys that in the market you see cheap AC chargers. Like there's one that's less than 2,000 ringgit.
Or 1,000 ringgit.
1,000 ringgit. So AC chargers also currently there is no serum standard for AC chargers, right? Or even DC, right? So be careful when you look at all these cheap chargers. So now this is where if you skimp, you're gonna lose, because while we think electricity is electricity, EV power draw is much more than a standard aircon,
appliance,
for
yeah.
example,
Yeah.
or a standard oven,
appliance,
for
yeah.
example. So the way electricity behaves in that circumstance is completely different. And I also figured this out. We talked to this super geek. His name is Frank, and he's super awesome. And he taught us a lot about electricity. And I'm surprised. Electricity is actually magical, at higher energy outputs, it behaves completely differently. So I found myself becoming like an uber geek, because now I'm so excited about electricity. We were talking about
So
kilowatt,
enlightened, yes.
megawatts, everything.
Yeah.
So consider those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got out of hand there. Let's say one line for MSB, or maybe Hannah can answer this.
Yeah.
Let's say one line for MSB to each floor. So how many EV charger device can be installed per floor?
That depends on the breaker at each floor. What size is it? If it's 100 amps, you can install 18 units of Sparklin.
Okay. AC chargers?
AC charger, because we mentioned single phase just now, right?
Yep.
So that would be 18 divided by 2 9.
Yeah.
7 kilowatt ACs.
7 kilowatt.
So the short answer is it depends on your power supply and depends on your requirement.
Availability.
And again, I think the difference that we're bringing is we want to go into the details. We want to spend the time to really understand what your requirements are, rather than say, okay, here's a template, 0 capex, 20% to you, and then we install. I mean, would you rather have somebody that gives you all this? Say, okay, we're going to install 4 we're going to install a 100 breaker, 100 slot breaker, for example, that can supply 100 amps. So then right, there's a book in your maintenance office that tells you that, okay, this is the capacity for the charger. Or you have somebody installed that maintenance also don't know what they're installing, and when you want to scale up, you don't even know how to do. So you have to like retrace your route again and see, and then what happens is you're gonna find out, actually this is not the way to do it, and then you're gonna pay more. So back to your question, 300,000 ringgit. 300,000 ringgit is generally maybe if it's DC, probably 60 kilowatts. Probably, yeah, or less actually.
Depends on the configuration. Could be a mixture of maybe 40 kilowatt DC and a couple of ACs.
Yeah.
It depends. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also it depends on the location as well. Like for example, if we need to pull the line a bit longer, the distance also will also affect the cost.
Yeah, and I want to just like underline this, right? This is where you don't want to skimp, man. And this is where you don't want to have an installer that's going to skimp on you. When it comes to contractors, right, I think one of the biggest way contractors make money is the margin lah. So where they can cut costs, they will cut costs. And when it comes to things that are for looks only, sure, cut costs. Instead of proper wood, you want to put fake wood, go ahead. But with electricity, if you need 4 cable and you think you're going to cut costs and just use 2 you don't want to talk to those people, man. Seriously. I had that bad experience before. So don't do it. All right? Okay. Where's next? Okay, Jason Chung asks, if it's too expensive to pull the individual EVDB for parking floors, it will not be viable unless getting consensus from AGM, EGM to utilize sinking fund to install this. Yeah, it's correct. At the end of the day, it's up to you. It is your house and your community. And for me, it's not chicken and egg. It will happen, and you will have to cross the road when the demand is there. Are you going to be the only building in your area that's not ready to install EVs? Let's say next year, right, or in October, the government say, all right, we're going to give incentives for high rises to install EVs, and you're the one that is not ready because you didn't do your homework, didn't do your research. I'm not blaming you, but I'm just giving an example. And then the fund ran out because you didn't have time to claim. Do you want that? I mean, there's no reason. There's no tak rugi for us to prepare now. Even kalau tak ada demand, even kalau tak ada duit, or even kalau JMB tak nak, at least prepare for it.
It's an infrastructure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
Because EV is future. It's not a trend. It's not something that's fleeting. Car brands, Proton already opened a factory. BYD opening a factory. Zeekr opening a factory in Malaysia. So if they are already investing, is it conceivable that I'm not blaming you, that people are thinking, oh, no, it's not the right time? All these brands are already investing. People are buying. EV cars are growing. Almost 95% growth year on year in August alone. ICE car sales has stagnated. Brands like Honda, Toyota, Mazda struggling to sell new cars. Diesel cars are going down. What other data point you need to tell you that, hey, we should look into EVs?
And we just look at our neighbor like Thailand. For the EV penetration right now is 18% total industrial volume. So it's growing as well. Thailand, Singapore. So it's not just a fad. You can see worldwide is growing. Yeah.
Yeah. And don't just read the headlines, man. I think a lot of the headlines are saying, Mercedes is now not doing EVs or whatever. Like I said, if I can mention it, Alex just got back from Germany. They are full EV, man.
Yeah. Like you look at the stuff they're launching right now. BMW is a new EV at the auto show. Mercedes also a new EV, GLC electric, and then Porsche they showcased the new electric the concept Cayenne with wireless charging, and then so the future is clearly electric.
The biggest, I think, commitment to me with BMW is that the next M will be an EV. So, yeah.
And I also heard recently about Jaguar, how they've stopped producing worldwide, and they're waiting on the next model, which is in 2027, because they didn't adopt EVs earlier. So now they're not able to sell any cars for at least a year and a half.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned Jaguar, because it's a whole other story, because they did their rebranding and everybody hated that, and they came out with that car, and then they're all too what's the word, progressive or liberal or whatever. So a lot of people didn't like that. That's another thing. But Jaguar, I think that's a good example. Jaguar waited too long, deliberated too long. In fact, a lot of the European EV car makers, Mercedes in particular, waited too long, and now they're struggling. And that's why the China people, not China people, China people, China country, China. That's why China,
mainland China,
is moving rapidly into this area, because it allows them to leapfrog. I don't need to invest in engine development. It's just all software. It's just creating a phone. So back to the question, when the situation is right, that government is now allowing this, will that be the right time for you to now say, okay, JMB, let's convene, let's have a meeting, let's have an AGM, EGM, whatever M you want to have? Then by that time it's already too late. You guys need to consider that. All right, we have about another 20 minutes. I see still 30 people around. Kim Ho, the ICE car owners don't like the idea that they are subsidising from the sinking fund that they also contribute. It's a lost opportunity, but can't fault them. That's why EV owners or soon to be are thinking to fund it, share out. But that really depends on how substantial the cost is lah. Yeah, Kim Ho, I think you're right, and it's fair. Yes, the ICE people don't feel like, okay, I should subsidize the EV people. Okay, I totally understand that. Maybe you can create a separate tabung. You can create an EV tabung for the EV users. maybe you can talk to a solution provider that can provide you a solution within that budget. And again, not following a template. The template is, I think one person was asking, what is the ratio between AC and DC? In general, do people want more AC or more DC? And the conversations that we've been having with GMB is, I want DC, I want DC, I want DC because I want fast. Now, is fast the right way to do it? Is fast the efficient way to do it? Is fast the cost-effective way to do it? And I think Hannah has answered, it's not, because a lot of people are charging when they're sleeping. So we talk about charging. So in our training, we ask the question, is the car waiting for you or you waiting for the car? I tell you this, at the petrol station, people say 5 minutes, right, to fill up a car. But that 5 minutes is you waiting for the car. And you don't factor in the time that it takes you to go from your house to the petrol station and to your final destination. How much time does it take? Does it really take 5 minutes? It doesn't. With an EV, the car waits for you. Why? When I go home, I plug in my car, the car charges, I go to sleep. Tomorrow, the car is 80% charged, ready to go, waiting for me. Similarly, when I go long distance, like Alex go long distance, we go to the charger, the DC charger. Sometimes we deliberately find slower DC chargers. So we go to the DC charger, we plug in the car, we go do our business, go to the toilet, go to pray lah, go to buy drink stuff. By the time we finish all that, the car is ready to go, waiting for me. Contrast that to ICE. I go to the petrol station, I gotta fill up the car. So some people, they hog the petrol line, right? I park the car there, then I go to the convenience store, go take my time, pilih my kopi, whatever.
Go toilet.
And then I go and refuel. So secretly, ICE people want to be EV people.
And also to add on to that, right? And again, I say EV chargers should be looked at as infrastructure, and also that will also potentially increase the value of property and also the appeal of property for renters. So imagine this, right? Let's say, for example, you're looking for a house, right, a condo, right? Let's say you go to a condo. Sorry, this place no broadband. Will you want to stay in the place? No, right? I need a place with broadband. So similarly, if you see the trend that more people are buying EVs, right?
Yeah.
If I want to rent a place, right?
Yeah.
I need to know, can I charge my car? If I cannot charge, I don't want this place lah. This place is nice, but I cannot charge my car. Or this place also have broadband, no port for Unify, for example. Then I don't want to stay here because I can't. I need the infrastructure.
Yeah, that's a good perspective. So this is for renters, not for people who own house for renting, or people who want to maybe increase the value of their high-rise dwelling. If you're high-rise dwelling, so look at the investment, right? So let's say you invest 200K. 200K to install chargers. Let's say with the 200K, you can install 10 AC chargers.
And install solar some more.
So your high-rise dwelling now is EV friendly with green energy. Now, all of the units benefit in terms of the increase in value. Is that a good enough ROI for you? I think it is.
Yeah. And we can see the data that EV ownership is growing. So you must think about the typical tenants that's coming in as well to the marketplace. So more people buying EVs. If they want to rent a place, right? If a place there's no EV charger, a place has no broadband, who wants to rent that place?
Yeah. Okay, Frankie Fu is asking not a charging question but an EV question. Sorry, not a charging question but an EV question. But do you think the right to repair movement will come to EV just like ICE cars? Well, there is no right to repair. Okay. EVs are repairable, actually. A lot of people don't know that. You can actually repair the battery. The only issue is software. So, and I don't see that being a concern at this point in time. They don't lock out the battery. So, the only thing you need to repair is actually the battery. And batteries are
the last thing you need to worry about.
The last thing you need to worry about. And they are serviceable. They are salvageable, serviceable, repairable, recoverable, recyclable. Probably the last thing is they are not as flammable as you think.
Yeah, and then also another one proof to that is that you can still see Nissan Leafs, Renault Zoe from 10 years ago still running today. And when I was in Germany, right, BMW's first commercial EV, the i3, right, there's plenty of them still running on the streets of Munich. So that shows that, you can actually, the EVs can actually last quite long. It's repairable as well.
I see a lot of i3s in Malaysia as well, and i8 in Malaysia.
I is a PEF, yeah.
Sorry, not i8. The
i3.
M8, no, the supercar. Not the supercar. The car with the gull-wing doors.
That's i8. That's PEF.
Oh, it's a PEF, is it?
Yeah, i8 is a PEF. Yeah.
Alright.
i3 is the original, the one that looks like a bubble car, like a city bubble car. Yes, correct. You can find them running around. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also another thing is that is it the end of the world if you cannot install chargers? Is it in your condo? Okay, I can maybe share my perspective as a user who doesn't have home chargers at home. So for me is I don't have a charger at home because similar to Army when we got a cars, we don't have free chargers back then. So I was thinking, right, if I install a charger at home, it costs me 5,000 ringgit. I was thinking, if you put it in petrol sense, right, 5,000 ringgit worth of petrol, right, can last you a couple of years.
Really?
5,000 ringgit. Yeah, maybe 2-3 years for petrol.
Okay.
So for me, I was thinking, okay, I want to see how long can I survive on just purely public chargers. And true enough, my first year ownership, I actually enjoyed a lot of free charging. As a lot of places get free charging. And after that, when Gentari introduces the subscription fee, so if you pay 899 ringgit per year, which is also tax deductible, you can actually enjoy 50% off charging at public chargers. And effectively, I enjoy the rate quite similar to home charging.
Yeah.
And that works for me. So for me is there are alternative solutions out there as well. So if you can't charge at home, you can always charge public chargers. Of course, provided on where you live. For example, in Klang Valley, the charging network is growing. You can find them in a lot of malls, a lot of destinations. And now, as we own EVs for about close to 3 years now, we see the EV charging infrastructure is growing rapidly. Almost every single week, we see a new EV charger deployment turn on. And you can see there's a lot of new chargers deployed with 50% offer and free charging as well. So that shows that, public charging infrastructure is also growing. And for me, as a person who doesn't charge at home, it's actually sufficient for me.
Yeah, so it depends on your location, where you commute, where you drive, whether your office has a charger, whether the place you usually go to dinner has a charger, and that's how you can manage not having a charger at home.
Yep.
Yeah, and it depends on your commute distance as well lah. Wow, that's a long text there. I want to see the top one first. I heard from my JMB. Okay, this is from Clement Chan. Thanks for the question. I heard from my JMB few operator unable to resolve Bomba concern at condo. How would SC Cucuk able to resolve the compliance issue? Okay, let me try to answer this question, Hannah, and then maybe you can chime in. So as we mentioned earlier, AC charging, the requirement is actually very minimal. In fact, if you're installing AC charging for your private parking lot, basically all you need to do is follow the requirements, which is MCCB, RCCB, cabling, everything. Then and have an isolator. That's it. No Bomba requirement for AC. Even for public, there's no Bomba requirement.
Technically, according to the Bomba guidelines, right, it does mention to prepare a fire blanket, one for every one AC charger, and 2 for every 2 to 10 AC chargers. AC or DC lah. They just say
charger.
Charger. So by right, you need to prepare a fire blanket, and I think it's generally good practice as well to prepare one, because you never know when you need one, and when you need one, you can't get one like right away. And secondly, to have a fire extinguisher at least standby. The extinguisher is not expensive.
Yeah, so the basic one is a fire extinguisher. You're right. So the fire blanket, okay, I think the Bomba guys are doing really good. But I think for me, the concern is the assumption, right? So people think a fire blanket, because the word blanket, right, is something like actually, it's like a blanket, right? An effective fire blanket that can cover an EV, right, is actually considerably heavy, even for a guy like me. I'm not saying I'm strong, but I alone cannot operate one fire blanket. In fact, the Bomba also at least need 2 people to operate a fire blanket. So back to your question, Frankie, for AC charging, the Bomba requirement is not a lot. DC, there is a lot of requirement. You need buffer zones, you need this, you need that. But we talk to a lot of CPOs, and all of these CPOs have installed chargers in very challenging locations. I want to highlight Charge EV. Was it Burung Hantu? Where was that? Was that Charge EV?
No, that's an EVC.
Okay, EVC installed
charge.
street DC charger at Taman Tun. They had all sorts of problems, man. They had the community issue. People didn't want chargers to be installed there. They had TMB requirements and regulations that they had to fulfill. They had Bomba requirements and regulations that they had to fulfill. They had buffer zone issues and things like that. But they managed to solve that. So what I'm saying is that if EVC can do it, I think AC charger installation or DC charge. You mentioned AC, right, just now? Did he mention AC?
He didn't mention.
Okay.
Unlikely to be AC, I think, because if he's saying unable to resolve with Bomba, it sounds like DC already.
Yeah.
So for me, again, what I'm trying to say is, if EVC can do it, there is a way to do it lah. I'm sure.
I think maybe the issue in his case could be the separation distance. So maybe the bays that they selected were not
Suitable.
not suitable.
Mm.
It doesn't have a
Buffer zone.
buffer zone. Or if you don't have a buffer zone, what you can do is erect the fire separation wall, which is 1.5 meter height lah, according to the
Oh, I
guidelines.
didn't know that.
Oh yeah, I remember that because there's one site in Kota Baru, M Bank, because the DC charger right is just next to the lorong, so there's no separation bay. So because of that right, they need to erect a wall next to a staircase as the barrier.
Yeah.
Mm.
So it could be that. It could be that they have no buffer zone, no
Yep.
space for buffer zone. It could be that it's too close to a laluan keluar.
Kecemasan.
A pathway, yeah.
Exactly. So it could be blocking that.
Yeah.
So that could be an issue as well. If it's blocking, there's nothing you can do. You have to relocate the bay.
Yeah.
Or it could be that there is no fire hose or something nearby that they have to.
Well, so all these things you highlighted, and then Alex pointed out that okay, if there's no space, you mentioned if there's no space, you can erect a wall.
A firewood, yeah.
If the location is not suitable, you can move the location. My point is, there is a solution. So I'm not sure whether the CPOs you're mentioning I don't know, but from the examples that we see, so these are real life example. EVC, the M-Bank one is in Kelantan, right? This is the
Kota
one, the
Baru,
picture you
Jentari,
showed.
yeah.
Before there wasn't a wall, suddenly there's a wall, right?
Yeah, correct, yeah.
Yeah. So it's possible. All right. Where's the guy with the long question?
Here.
just
You
now?
want to reach me? Easier.
Okay.
Kok Peng,
Okay.
yeah.
So Kok Peng states here, my condo has suggested a survey form to gather the statistics of EV car owners who have the interest on becoming a member of in-house EV car charging owners group and wish to use in-house EV car charging facility per the below setup system. New facility, 2 EV charging stations with 4 AC 22 kilowatt charging ports. 4 cars can be charged simultaneously, payment by credit, debit card, bank transfer and e-wallet future upgrade. Each member has to pay a non-refundable amount to this pool. Is this able to answer this? Oh, he's answering a question. Okay. Yeah, thanks for sharing, Kok Peng. I think this is really cool. So basically, this example, what he's saying is that
Dia build a tabung lah.
is saying that if the community, as a community, you guys come together, there is a solution. That's basically it. Number one. Number two, we've engaged with a lot of EV users. We've done our 2 EV clinics. We will be doing an EV track day next week. Oh, I forgot to plug that in. By the way, guys, if you guys are EV users and you wanna drive your car at Sepang in a safe environment, it's newbie friendly, it's guided. I will be there. Don't worry about it. You can come to Sepang and enjoy that.
F1 circuit.
Yeah, sorry, I'm looking at yeah. I don't know why I'm okay. Never mind. So I forgot my point. So my point is, EV users are very open-minded. During our engagement at our EV clinic, they want to learn. They are the engagement in the community is very strong. We have our EV user group. We have about 400, almost 500, 460 now members there, and they're very engaged. So I think that's the strength that you can leverage on when you want to talk to your JMB. If they are saying, okay, we don't want to do it like this, we don't want to fund it, then have a sub JMB or have a, like Kok Peng mentioned, a EV user community group for
Survey.
your have a survey and build a tabung yourself. Do it, man. I think it's awesome if you guys can make it happen. Yeah. Any other questions? Sorry.
You want to reach me?
It's okay. You're right, Jason, but sitting in MC for the third term and engage with a few CPOs, no one can propose a complete and proper solution. Bro, talk to us lah. I don't know which CPO you're talking to, but maybe talk to us. Give us that challenge. Let us try it. Can you list out the private charging requirements in writing? That's the checklist, right?
Yeah, that's something we're working on, right? The checklist.
Private or public?
Private.
Private.
Maybe we have a checklist for private and public.
Okay.
To install their own parking bay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I have to ask my community if they have an EV installer solution provider in mind already. Your Cucuk Charge sounds like the perfect vendor. Oh, thank you. I mean, if they have already, you can't fight perfect, right? Okay. If you have any questions, okay, thanks, Kelvin. Everyone, Google up guidelines on electric vehicle charging, EVCS, issued by Sorange. Oh, thanks. See. This is the example of a EV community right here. I'm
Yep.
sure Kim Ho. Okay, I might be wrong. Okay, I'm betting on it. You are an EV driver. You're an EV user, right? Yeah, he's already WhatsApp us. Thank you. Okay, we have about like 10 minutes. Yes, I am. See?
Yeah. He knows his stuff.
No, what I'm trying to say is EV users are very helpful lah.
Yeah.
Aside from the hoggers lah, that one I don't know lah. Okay, any other questions, guys? We have about maybe 8 minutes left. Or we can just yeah. I
Yeah.
think we're pretty
Pretty
much done.
Yes, I am. Want to joke? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry, I missed out on the early sessions. Does this solution win-win from JMB's side if vendor rent the place for certain price? Well, okay. So on our side, what are the solutions we provide? We supply, install, and we provide the solution, and we provide the community engagement. So in terms of solution, what we can do is we provide the payment solution for you. That means, if you want to have it's a managed service. We install for you, we manage the facility for you. So if you're asking win-win, that's how we do it. So we take that headache away from you. Any problems with user, any problems with the equipment, any problems with the community. Let's say your EV user group is very strong and they want, but the community is pushing back. Oh, I don't want to subsidize. We can do the engagement. We can do the talks. We can do like this, but in real world. Go to your day one and talk to your community there. So that's what we do. I hope that's win-win enough. In fact, and then we have also alternative solutions, not this cable, this thing. Sorry,
Yep.
Alex.
Yep.
This sparkling thing, where let's say, okay, I don't have much money. I want to install EV charger. You can install this. This is 1/3 of the cost typically of an AC charger. So, I mean, I hope we were able to convince you that it's less of us completing the project. It's more of us like trying something new and really finding a solution. Like between Hannah and I, we've been trying to push this for like a year, and still, talking to people and all that, and some people are still not convinced. Again, the requirement is, oh, I want DC, DC, DC. I want fast, fast, fast. This thing 3-pin plug not sexy enough. Then the question is, do you really need a DC charger? Is it going to be serving your community effectively? Is it efficient?
Is it cost effective?
Yeah. And we're not here to push just one thing. And if we can't find something, we'll figure it out. So I hope that comes across lah. What time? How long will your team be in Penang tomorrow Saturday? Which area? Kelvin, tolong check dengan Iskandar. Iskandar tak tahu mana, dah hilang dah. Okay, sorry I messed up. Okay, so Muhammad Fahmi, I hope we've answered that question. If we have not, Kelvin, can you just I think Kelvin has dropped the number, our WhatsApp number. Just WhatsApp us, and then we'll take the conversation in the DMs. Okay, hope my community are proactive to reach out. I hope so too. Kok Peng. Yes, I'm WhatsApping you guys. Yay, thank you so much. Hopefully we'll be able to answer quickly enough. By the way, tomorrow is Saturday, so kadang-kadang kita tak reply secepat yang kita harapkan lah. Alright guys, we have about 5 minutes left. Any tips you guys want to share about EV ownership? Any tips you guys want to?
Okay, I think for those who are not driving EVs, right, I think a lot of people are concerned about range anxiety, find charger. Actually, once you own an EV, it's actually not as scary as what you thought. It's actually much easier than it is. And in fact, like for me, as a person who doesn't have a home charger, I typically charge twice a week at the mall. Like 1-2 hours, top up. Because you need to change your mindset. It's not like petrol car, you need to wait until it's low, then start worrying about way to fill up. This one, you just top up. It's like using your smartphone. You just top up, Cucuk Charge, and you have no worries. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's very key because when you become an EV user, you have to imagine your car is now like your phone. And your charging patterns should be the same way that you charge your phone.
Yeah.
Not like a petrol car. You cannot imagine it being like an ICE car anymore. It
Yeah.
has to be because it's a battery now.
Yeah.
It's more than a nice car actually. So, and this is a good example. So when we do our training, right, I always ask this question. Okay, guys, how many of you, right, use your ice car and then drive it until almost empty, then only you go to the petrol station, and then a lot of hands come up, right? And then I tell them, do you know why you do that? Because you don't want to go to the petrol station, actually. That's why you leave it to the last minute. And then you tell me it's 5 minutes? No. So now, EV, you don't even have to think about it. You go home, if you're high rise dwellers and if we are able to install chargers at your place, you go home, you go to your parking lot, you take out the cable, you chocho. 2 minutes, it's done. Then you go to sleep, no need to worry. The car is ready to go, waiting for you downstairs. So why I say this is because when it comes to battery, so a lot of people say, oh, battery 5 years, then you need to replace lah, tak tahan. Battery cost mahal lah. Okay, I did say battery is mahal. But the battery cost has gone down significantly, number one. Number two is, if you use your EV car like you use your ICE car, that means you drive the car until below 20%. That is where the most damage happens to your battery. So if you're driving an EV, don't drive it to below 20% regularly. I mean, and it's not absolute here, okay? What I mean is, if you're doing long distance driving and you need the range and you reach below 20%, that's fine. Once in a while, it's okay. But as a habit, like how you use ICE cars, no, it's not good. So that's probably the tip I would like to share. Okay, yes.
Before we end, you guys want to just talk about, besides sparkling, what else do you offer?
Yes, but Clement Chan mentioned something I want to just go through. Could you play an important, Cucuk could play an important role for condo and commercial residences and JMB communities? Everyone educating us about EV charging and safety concerns versus the benefits of home owners and EV owners. Also general public who may create more visits to condos shop lots. Thank you so much for mentioning that. Jom, please invite SC members. When I'm betting he's an EV user as well.
Yeah.
Are you, Clement? Let's see.
Yeah, hopefully we can play a role to to educate GMBs and also to really help to accelerate adoption, especially for high rise dwellers, because as we use EVs, the benefits are there. Just that we don't want having the barrier of not having chargers in your condo become an issue. So we want to make sure that we break that barrier for all of you guys.
Yes, Clement, you must honor here, big fan. Thank you so much. I think Clement is from our EV user group.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm right. Okay.
Kopeng.
Kopeng says, my nearest Shell petrol station is only 3 minutes away. That's why I only refuel when the tank is nearly empty. All right, good point. That's a good point, because you have demonstrated that your proximity to a petrol station changed the habit of your usage. So it is the same for EVs as well. If your proximity to a charger is convenient for you, then your mindset changes to top up, like Alec mentioned. Wherever you go, there's a charger. You find the parking lot, you chocho, you top up. Even if you get 5%, it's good enough. So that matters. So yeah. Okay, you were saying products.
Besides sparkling, what else do we offer?
We supply chargers. So currently our latest product is a portable DC charger that you can move around. And we are also promoting DC chargers to be installed in your house. What that means is, if you have more than one EV, you're fully converted to EVs, and AC charging is not fast enough. Did you know that you can install DC chargers at home? Of course, the cost is not as cheap as a DC as an AC charger, but the benefits are there. And what else? We offer charging payment solution, tap and pay, so you don't have to worry about installing any applications. It's done. It's e-invoice ready. It's also friendly for GMB to manage your to look at how much you're making and everything. It's simple to use, so that's something that we promote as well. We give full control back to the people who are using the chargers. We do EV user training, EV driver training. We do EV events. We're 100% EVs, man.
And speaking of events, what's happening?
Oh yeah, we have an EV track day happening on the 28th of September.
Next Sunday.
It's newbie friendly. It's guided, and guess what, guys? We have charger at the pits. And not AC charger, not granny charger. It's a 180 kilowatt charger, so that you can charge your car while you go to the track. So come on over, register. Maybe Kelvin, can you put in the article link for our EV track day? Yeah. Yeah,
It's gonna be
that's
at Sepang F1 circuit, right?
Sepang F1 circuit. One of the best circuits in the world. Even F1 drivers say they want to come back to Sepang.
Yeah, they missed that, right?
Yeah. It's better than Singapore. Hands down, Singapore is a concert lah. Singapore people go there for the concert and the party, and then so happen there's a race lah. Okay.
Kevin, you want to drop the link? Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Kevin dropped the track day link. Thank you, Kelvin. Thank you for highlighting the EV mindset change. Kopeng says, like smartphone changing, topping up instead of charging from near zero. Yeah.
Yep,
okay.
absolutely.
All right, so we still have 27 people watching the show. Thank you for being with us for 2 hours, guys. I hope we don't rebel too much. At the end of the day, my happiness comes from if you guys took away more than you guys came with. And I hope you guys did. Please reach out to us. Let us know if you have any questions about EV charging, whether it's landed or high rise. And have a good weekend ahead. You guys want to drop your goodbyes?
Yeah, thanks so much, guys, for having me. I've really enjoyed this session, and thanks everyone for tuning in.
Thanks for being here. I think you can be a repeat. I think actually we should do more of this this live session. Okay, Hannah, this is not you, right, Hannah? Hannah Damanik. Awesome
that's
session.
my friend. Hi,
Oh.
Hannah.
Can you guys be more confusing?
All Hannahs must be friends.
Yeah.
Awesome session. Thanks for having this. We truly appreciate the insight. Great discussion. Big thanks from the Sparkling Funds team. Oh, okay. Oh, all right. That makes sense. Yeah, Alex, any closing thoughts?
Yeah, I think I'm very grateful that all of you guys have joined in, and I think we can see a pattern here that all of you want to install chargers at home, and you also have some challenges to basically to convince your GMB, and I think we noted that, so hopefully we can come up with a checklist to make it more clearer for the GMB that what really it needs to take to install chargers at your residence. So it's not as scary as what most people think. So let's try to help to solve that problem for you and make it easier for everyone.
Yeah, you're right. So we cut through the clutter, through the BS. We reset the breaker for you. We help you find a solution. We'll make it happen. So give us a try, guys. Fazan say we want more of Hannah. Which Hannah? This Hannah or that Hannah? Fazan ujung-ujung ni baru nak bercakap. Hannah also says thank you so much, Hannah, for amazing woman we have in EV ecosystem. Yeah, I was blown away at how knowledgeable she is. So yeah. So guys, do you guys think we should have Hannah come back for our next session? Maybe you guys should suggest what we should talk about in our next live session. I think this is becoming a thing, man.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, pre Q&A. What's pre Q&A?
We'll look into it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. All right. This is me, Amin.
It's Alex.
And
Hannah.
catch you guys later. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Bye.